come into a stance, feet about hip distance. Relax your arms alongside your body, and then let your eyelids close. Feel a little bend in your knees so that you start to sink some weight into your feet, grounding your energy to the floor. Begin to notice just the natural movement of your breath here. Start to experience what is real for you right now. So take in any physical sensation you notice. Notice your heartbeat. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Begin to rock yourself gently forward and back. Shift your weight as far into the balls of your feet as you're able without tipping yourself forward. And then shift all the way back into your heels. And then do this a few more times, shifting forward and shifting back. And just noticing as you go in one direction or the other, what kind of comes into action to keep you upright and to bring you back into the middle. Settle yourself back in that in-between space so that you feel pretty balanced between the fronts and backs of your feet. And then shifting all of your weight towards your left foot. And then shifting all of your weight to your right foot. And again, as you shift from side to side, just noticing what comes into play to hold you up, to stabilize your body. And what is that effort of bringing yourself back to the middle? Settle yourself into that in-between space again so you feel like you're standing between what's in front of you, right, your future, what's behind you, your past, what's over to the right, and then over to the left, and you find yourself in the middle. And take a deep breath in through your nose. And then exhale out, just a gentle sigh from your mouth. Lightly seal your lips. You can open or close your eyes for this. You may want to open just to see. Keep your feet planted on the ground, and then start to create this sense of bounce in your body. Just bending the knees. Let your shoulders start to bounce. Feet stay connected for now. And just letting yourself kind of shake around. Notice any resistance to moving freely. And then you're gradually going to start to lift your heels. So now balls of the feet stay connected and start to feel this sort of thud of your heels bouncing on the ground and the vibration that it creates through your body. And then let your arms move as they'll move because the rest of your body is moving. If you're feeling already a little erratic in your energy today, you might keep the balls of your feet down and just focus in on this vibration through the body. Otherwise, you're going to start to bounce. So letting the balls of the feet come off of the ground, let the arms move. Keep going with it and notice how your energy starts to shift, so how your heartbeat starts to go faster, your breath maybe becomes a little bit more powerful, a little bit more effortful even. And then you can really move it around. So I always think this is a really great opportunity for a spontaneous dance party. If you're feeling it, if you've got your music playing, go for it. We're going to keep moving around like this for just about another minute. So let yourself be with it. You can close your eyes if that feels secure. Otherwise, keeping a soft gaze in your eyes and continuing to move yourself around. So shake it out. Fling out that energy from your fingertips. Start to move your hips around a little bit so you sort of get into that watery energy in your pelvis. Allowing a sense of flow through your body. And again, notice if you're at home by yourself right now and you have the freedom to move around in any way you want, can you allow yourself to do that? Do you hold yourself back? Start to feel your feet against the ground again. We're going to reverse our way out of it. So find the balls of the feet on the floor. Relax your arms alongside your body and just let your heels bounce. Notice your breath again, keep checking in. Maybe start to close your eyes, feel your heels on the ground again, and just let your body bounce to that little bend of the knees. Bring yourself back into a place of relative stillness. And you might start to notice that vibration through the body again. Even though the body is still, feeling the movement happening within the container of your physical space. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your mouth. So observing now this bringing down of your energy back into your body as you settle your breath back into a slower rhythm, as your heartbeat starts to settle again. Feel your feet on the ground. Place your hands on your thighs. And then use that connection of your palms to your legs, to the trunk of your body, to really ground your energy again. And once again, deep breath in through your nose. Exhale a sigh through your mouth. We'll remain standing as we move through a series of joint mobility exercises. Bring your arms down alongside your body and find that hip distance with your feet. You might want to measure now, in which case you'll just lift the ball of one foot, pivot the foot in so your big toe finds your inner heel, and then turn it forward again. Keep a soft bend in your knees. Keep your feet planted to the ground. Make fists with your hands. Punch your fist down towards the floor so you're drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Tighten your navel towards your back. So the idea is that you're trying to keep everything else tense and just move the joint that we're focusing on. We'll begin with the neck. So once you get yourself stable, drop your chin into your chest and then start to take your chin over towards your right shoulder. Lift your chin. And then circle it around to the left. Really slow articulation of movement, focusing on the neck joint. We're going to do this 5 times in each direction, so feel free to just move on your own. Noticing if the body tries to move along with you to compensate for any space of stuckness in the neck. Drop your chin into your chest once you finish that last one, and then just go in the other direction. Nice and slow. And if you get to a place where your neck doesn't want to rotate, just pass over it. When you finish your 5, lift your head back into neutral, release your hands, shake them out a little. Crisscross your forearms and place your hands right on your shoulders. Starting upright, rotate your chest towards the right. Keep your hips stable. Lean back just a little so you extend your spine. And then start to rotate over towards the left. And again, hips don't move, just the upper body. Bend a little bit, flexion in the spine. And then bring yourself back through, twisting over to the right again. And then make that slow rotation around. So just the upper body is moving. And I'm going to show you actually, if you want a little bit of extra support here, if your hips kind of wobble around with this, you could place a block in between your thighs, and that's going to give you a little bit more support in the low body. And then you'll just come back into it. When you finish that direction, go the other way, pivot over to the left, extend the spine, twist over to the right, flex the spine just a little, keep the hips straight forward, and then continue in your rotation. And again, just notice anywhere where you get stuck. And rather than trying to push through that, can you just let that be okay for now? Release your arms. If this is helpful, you can keep it. Otherwise, just move it on out of the way. And then we're gonna work through the arms. So I'm gonna turn just so that you can see a little better what's happening. You're gonna make a fist with your left hand again, just like you did before. Tighten your navel towards your spine, feel your feet on the ground. And then with a flat palm, reach your right fingertips forward. So you start with the palm facing in, and then you're gonna take your arm up until it gets stuck. Rotate the arm so the palm faces out, and then full rotation of the arm all the way around. So it's almost like a backstroke. And then bring it back, rotate, and back around to the front. Now notice again, I'm not twisting here. You could use the block to stabilize your hips. We're gonna do 5 rotations, articulating just the movement of the right shoulder. Take your time. Continue to breathe. If you feel like you start to move fast, check back in with what's happening with the rest of your body. Re-stabilize, navel to spine, tighten your left fist. And then just release that. Switch sides. You don't have to turn around, just doing so you can see. Right hand in a fist, left palm flat, soft bend in your knees, and then begin to rotate. And now the 2 sides might feel very different. Just notice. And when you finish your 5, relax your hands. Coming back to the right arm, so the different variation of a shoulder rotation. Reach your arm straight forward, left hand in a fist, and then take your right arm out at about 45-degree angle. Reach your right fingertips away from you so that you almost move your shoulder joint out. Lower the shoulder, and then plug your arm back in. Lift the shoulder, reach out, lower, and plug back in. And then continue making this shoulder, almost like you're flossing through your shoulder blade. When you finish your 5, reverse it. Reach out, lift up, pull in, lower down. And notice what else tries to move to get you there. Release your arm down. Switch sides, right hand in a fist, reconnect your navel back so you have stability in your torso. Left arm reaches out and at an angle. Reach the arm away from the shoulder, lower the shoulder and draw it back in. Lift it up, reach out, lower it, and draw back in. And then continue to make the circular motion with your shoulder blade, keeping everything else as still as possible. And then reverse, taking your circle in the other direction. And again, you might start to notice one moves more easily, one maybe has a little bit more intelligence. Draw back in and release your arms down. Pause here for a moment, let your eyes close. Open your eyes when you're ready. Bend your elbows, make fists with your hands. Keep your forearms parallel so that you're not moving the arms and just isolating the rotation of the wrists. Bring your pinky knuckles towards each other. So you're inverting your hands into each other and then drawing the knuckles down towards the floor. Keep your fists and then pull the pinkies away from each other and then try and curl your knuckles towards you. And then making little rotations. Do your best not to move the forearms. They may move a little bit. Try and isolate that rotation, even if it's aggravating and it doesn't go as far as you want it to go. And then go the other way. Switch your circle around. All right, so this isn't about perfection. If you move around, you move around. Release your hands. Relax them alongside your body, palms facing forward. Let your eyes close. Feel that soft bend in your knees. Feel your feet against the ground. And taking a full breath in. And an exhale out through your mouth. Open your eyes and come down onto your hands and knees. We're going to come into a tabletop position to isolate the hips. Now you can do a version of this standing, but for today, let's come down and find a little bit more support. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, stack your hips over your knees, and then start just by finding a neutral spine here. Lightly press down through your hands and your left foot, and then you're gonna take your right knee all the way out to the side. Now try and keep a 90-degree bend in your knee. Lift your heel towards the ceiling behind you as you point your knee back. Draw your knee through, and then continue the circle around. So really feeling for isolating the rotation of the thigh and the hip. Notice the weight shift over towards your left side. Do your best to move only the leg and the hip socket. And then notice again, anywhere that your body doesn't want to go. Reverse the direction. Press your foot up. Circle the knee and bring it forward. A little harder, and then continue. Moving the thigh in the hip socket. And when you're finished, release the leg down and switch sides. So while you move on to the left side, I'm just going to show a different variation for anyone who's not feeling like doing this on hands and knees. Come down onto your back. Take your hands onto your kneecaps, and then you're going to keep your right knee stable as you take your left knee out to the side. And then draw it in and circle it around. So just an option if you want to try this a different way, otherwise staying on hands and knees, rotating the left leg in the same way as you just did with the right. So about 5 circles in one direction. And then when you're ready, reversing and going the other way. When you finish that, we'll meet in a seated position. So we're gonna move through the knee joint. So I do like to sit on something here just to keep from sinking too low in the back. So if you have a folded blanket or something you could sit on. If you know that you have a tendency to really sink and sit in your low back, you might even just wanna do this lying down on your back. To start with the right leg, grab underneath the knee. Place your left fingertips just inside of the shin bone. Feel around for that little indention, and you're using that just as feedback. And what we're doing is rotating the knee joints. We're not doing that with the foot, but rather isolating the rotation of the knee, and you'll feel it right in that bone. It's not going to move very far. Rotate the knee in, and then try and extend the leg. Bring it down, rotate out at the knee, be okay with it not going as far, and then extend the leg. You're just gonna go in and out. So part of this effort, again, is not just controlling the movement of the joint, but being okay with that limited range. What happens when we contort ourselves to get to a place that maybe we don't have a good access to is that we end up with blind spots. So since we're here on the right side, just make some circles with your ankle. You can hold your knees stable. Circle the other way. Again, you can do this on your back if you like. And just release. Switch sides. Take one hand underneath your left knee. Find the bony shin bones here. You have 2 actually coming down, and so there's a little space, this little indention. Rotate in, extend the leg, bring it down, and externally rotate. You will get a little bit of a rotation of the foot, but you're not using the rotation of the foot to make this a bigger turn. My knee is popping. So just notice all of those little things. If you've never done this, you might have some new strange feelings. Not trying to force any effort. And then let the knee bend, circle the ankle. And go the other way. And then release that and come into a seat. So we'll stop with those rotations today. Do this practice any time you really feel like you need to move your body. One of the things to really consider as we're going through our breath work, our yoga practices, and especially coming into this place of quiet and stillness within ourselves, is that everything is about balance, right? So while it's important to honor that need to be still and sometimes even push yourself to be a little uncomfortable in that stillness when you would rather be moving around and be really outward, sometimes you just have to move. Sometimes sitting down for the first time can create anxiety in the body and can make you feel really, really restless. And then rather than forcing yourself to be in that before you're ready for it, just let yourself move. We're always balancing the effort that we put in and the sense of ease that we bring into our lives and our physical practice. And especially as we get into this space of sitting with ourselves, of being still, of getting into the depths of who we are, sometimes we have to bring ourselves out of that in order to not sink too deep and not to get too heavy in ourselves. These practices of shaking out body, of rotating in the joints, is just going to help you kind of lift your spirits a little bit through that process.